Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Edna White, your host of Keeping It Real on Purpose. And today we're so excited because we are doing a series of, I want to say, different entrepreneurs or maybe even life coaches that have a perspective on life. But I like this one because it's one of my favorites. And you guys know me, fun. As a childhood sexual abuse survivor, I lost all the fun and imagination. So once I gained it back, I am not letting it go. And this next guest here is going to make sure we keep it fun. I want to introduce you, my audience of Keeping It Real, to the amazing Soul Alese. How are you today?
I am well. It's a beautiful day to be alive.
I know it is. Above
Yeah.
ground and all that, all the aches and pains. You good. You good.
Yeah.
So I want to talk about like your mission on making it fun. Tell us about that.
That's a great question. Um, I I never used to perceive life that way until pain happened.
Okay.
Um, so I was able to overcome 20 years of excruciating body pain last year
Okay.
when I did something different. So just a little backstory on what really shifted my perspective on starting
Okay.
to see life as fun. So I was born and raised in Nigeria. And, I moved here to the United States about 8 years ago. And I served in the military for 3 years and medically retired 2 years ago. The reason why I had to medically retire was because of an excruciating lower back pain
Mm,
and because I couldn't serve anymore. So
right.
once they transitioned me to the VA to keep seeing doctors, I went to physical therapy for 13 months, bunch of MRI scans,
Mhm.
hordes of medication. Just think about anything to cure pain. I went through that, but I realized that after a year, nothing was working, and
Yeah.
that took a huge toll on my mental, physical health. And I decided to do something that I was scared to do for a very long time in my life. So I did something very different because I realized that everything externally wasn't working. So I
Yeah.
trashed my medication, I canceled my doctor's appointment, and I looked within myself and I sat with my feelings and emotion. I embraced all parts of myself. I stopped running away from myself, from my
Okay.
monsters and my demons and those parts that I didn't want to look at in the mirror. And I stopped playing victim to the pain. I
Yeah.
realized that the pain was such a beautiful way for me to experience myself, was teaching me something that I was pushing away. And the
Yeah.
moment I embraced the pain, really starts to show it love, compassion, and using my inner strength and resilience. Pain
Yeah.
of 20
That's
years
good.
after 1 week stopped with no external, force. It was just going within myself to realize I had all the answers. And I'm
Yeah.
just like, it's that simple. And
Yeah.
over time, after that transformative experience, I realized that life is simple, life is fun, is how you see it, and life is ultimately mental. But the fun part was when I started to connect back to my inner child,
Yeah.
that childlike version of me that's just living in the moment. I'm not worried about 5 years from now, just here and now. And I started to see life that way, and I just started to experience life that
Yeah.
way. So
It's
hence
the
the reason
best.
for the life is fun. So that's really like, my
Yeah, it's the
story.
best. That's the stinking best. Let me tell you, the stinking best. I am with you, sister, all the way. Everything you said, yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am. We may even had the same, like situations, and yes, ma'am, and yes, ma'am. I will even go further and tell you that I spent 29 years in a religious order trying to find that. And you got the key real early, okay? You got the key real early, okay? And I was trying to find that I was reaching outside myself, only to find out 28 years later that, oh, I have the answers. God speaks to me. Oh, what? I can hear. I'm alive.
Yes.
I can touch people's lives without being in the ministry, without having one of those certificates. You know,
Yes.
I can
Yes.
do all those great things. And when I realized that, I started to, let me tell you, the debriefing, and I know you about to know about the debriefing, being a military person. The debriefing was, I think it was only 6 months of deep study to kind of unravel what I was taught. But
Mm.
man, it was painful. It was painful to unlearn, you
Yes.
know? But you got the message early. So, I applaud you. I applaud you
Thank you.
wholeheartedly. You got it. You really did. I'm telling you, girl, because I was like, okay, God, what's up with this? No, I got on and spent 29 years up. What's up with this? What's this practice run? This is how I talk to God. What, practice run? And I'm telling you, just to know that now I'm in a place, and I think I was in my 40s when I started. I just This started happening, unfolding for me, and boy, was I shocked,
Mm.
really shocked. And so I read, and the reason why I got up early before the show, I read this book.
I've read it before. Yeah, software. Yeah. Yeah.
And I read this book and I was like, this was my Bible to unlearn the stuff that I was told. This book
Yes.
here
Yeah.
was unravel things because I was doing a lot of it myself because
Mhm.
like you just said, I didn't look inner. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's so very hard to look in. And
Yeah.
as a childhood sexual abuse survivor, it's so painful to look within.
Right. Yeah.
It's so really painful. And then dealing with I guess I want to say, reparenting my inner child
Yes.
to help my inner child grow
Yes.
as I was growing,
Yeah.
because when in my 40s, I was still 12.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
was still 12. I was like, oh
Yeah.
my gosh. Even when my mother spoke to me, and it was maybe something simple, I would feel myself shrink down and answer like I was a kid. I was like, and one day I noticed it. I was like, oh, I gotta get this together.
Right.
I was like, I feel 12, and that's not good. And I was like, oh, I gotta get this together. Coupled with therapy and a lot of inner work,
Yes.
just having a sounding board sometimes is really good because
Mhm.
I had the answers. I just had to get it out.
Right.
And we don't know how important the voice is, you
Yes.
know. And I know that I know you would know that, about the voice,
Yes.
right? You would know that.
Yes. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. It's amazing. It's amazing. You know what's actually beautiful about the book you just showed? It's so interesting because I read this book probably like I love reading books a lot.
Uh-huh.
I read this book probably like 3 years ago. But recently, I got a really great inspiration about my book title.
Hmm.
And because I was a bit, this is just me keeping it real. I will say that I struggled, because of obviously my limiting beliefs that I had to work through. I struggled with being all the way confident and
Right.
shrinking myself.
Yeah.
So I will share this. So the title of the book is "Who the Fuck Am I? How to Play the
Yeah.
Human Game."
That's really great.
Now, my limiting belief was like, why should we put "fuck" on the title? And I kept battling with that because I was like, why should I shrink myself? But here is it. Why I'm very big about sitting in silence, right? So I sit in silence. That's one of my routines. One I was sitting in silence, like, here, why do I have this? Why do I keep telling myself this story? And something just came into my mind. Do you see Dick Sporting Goods? How dare you dare? It's a multi-million dollar brand. And I'm scared to
Absolutely.
put fuck in front of the
Exactly.
title. And I'm like,
Exactly.
that was it for me. Immediately I had that, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I don't care.
Let me just tell you, that's so true. You know, I never. It's important to understand what words are. So very important, And I can say I'm gonna go back to my example being in a religious order. You had to be very selective with your words, but some of the words were so stupid. You'd be like, "What does that even mean?" And yet we struggle with doing something because that's your assignment.
Right.
God said, "This is your book. This
Yeah.
is your book," and you're trying to say, "No, no, I can't do that."
Yeah.
Yeah, you're no, no. That's not what I'm gonna say.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Are you just kidding me?
Yeah.
People walk around with the vagina word on them. Okay, are
I know.
you kidding
I
me?
know. I know.
Come on.
It's
I mean, come on. It's just we get hung up on those things, and those are our limits. And I'm
right.
telling you, this guy, I don't know him per se, but when I saw because I was going through stuff, and I was like, this is exactly how I feel. This is exactly how I really, and in my 42 to be exact, I started um, studying or not, being very careful or cautious on what I gave a fuck about.
Yeah.
Like really, because we give a fuck about too many tiny things, and it'd be like cornflakes. Which
Yeah.
brand is better?
Yeah.
We give up instead of worrying about how much sugar's in there that's killing us. We
Yeah.
care about that. We care about the style of shoe the brand of shoe that we're wearing instead of how that high heel is going to mess our backs up during when we get older. Okay,
Yeah.
and how that paying for that $1,000 is going to we lost it. Here we go. And how that $1,000 is going to affect us, coming out of our paycheck.
Right.
Come on. We and it really talks about the art of not, and
Mhm.
just like the art of no, I love that. The art of
Yeah.
no,
No.
oh my gosh, it gave me back all my fun. I mean, I really, when I say that I strategically with my life with that, not that I didn't, there's some things that you don't give a fuck about. Then there's the art of no.
No.
So I was taking on everything, and you keep probably you gravitate to this. I would take on everything. Taking my mom to the doctor, taking
Right.
this one to the
Right.
doctors, taking on that one, going
Right.
over here and get my nephews, going over here.
Right.
I was doing everything. I had my own kids, by the way. By
Oh
the
wow.
way, okay, I had 3 kids to kind of
Wow.
take care of. I'm doing all of that, and then I'm going to church, staying there all day on Saturday and Sunday on my time that I have to rest because I have my own business that I'm running at.
Wow.
I'm running 2 offices. Mind you, my youngest was 13. I had to go to work, come back this 48 miles to
Wow.
get him off the bus to come with me to work, to stay with me, help him with his homework. I'm doing all this stuff. Burnt myself out. Didn't know what it was, right?
Wow.
But I had to start saying no. And a lot of people that say when they're very busy, they have not conquered the ability to say
They
no.
know. Yes.
They have
Absolutely.
not. They have
Yes.
not. And I learned what busy was when I was working. So I'd be like, somebody call me, I'm busy. So I would look at some papers. I go like this. Oh, I'll put that over there. I move from one pile. The next
Yeah.
thing I know, I later on and be like,
Yeah.
that's the same pile that was over there. I put it over
Yeah.
here. Didn't do a
Yeah.
thing
Yes. Yes.
because I'm busy about doing nothing. There's no
Right.
order. There's no order to it. And and I know you hear your clients always saying, I don't have no time. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Yeah.
All have the same time. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Are you kidding me? Sleep then. No, sleep less and then go, then, you know what I'm saying? Do something, but come on. Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? Or you hear somebody say, what did they say? I have a very busy schedule. This would kill me. Now, you're coming to a meeting. You say to me, Edna, you coming. You came today, right? Oh, girl, I forgot. I hear people telling me this all the time. Now, you scheduled an appointment with me. I didn't schedule with you.
Yeah.
Okay.
You came
Oh,
to me.
I forgot. I overbooked or I did something like that. You're being too busy. When I find myself overbooking somebody, okay, slow down, Edna. You're doing too much. You're doing
Hmm.
too much. And
Right.
and people's times are priority. Yours is no better than mine, but it's a priority. And we have to make sure that we're doing that. And I know in the subtle art of giving a funk, you have to time is a thing that you don't get back. So you
Right.
be concerned about something you can't get back.
Exactly. Exactly. Speaking of time, there's this movie. I don't know if you've seen it before, but you should watch it. It's a
Yeah.
classic. It's called The Bucket List.
Oh,
Um,
girl, yes, yes. That was one of my movies to watch. I think I was in my 40s, man. In fact, I think it's old though.
yeah,
It's old.
it's an
But
old
I'm
movie.
telling you that I was crying through the whole movie.
Yeah,
I was crying when they were laughing. I was like, I know what's
yeah,
gonna happen at the end. You
yeah.
know?
It's yeah. Once you know you have limited time, all those things you say you don't have time for, they become priorities.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes. As soon as you know. And that when I had my car accident in 2000 for New Year's for 2007,
right.
I realized that very same thing, that
Mhm.
I have to live my life like today is the
Yes,
last day.
yes, yes.
Do
Exactly.
everything you could do in that one. I don't care. Get it
Yeah.
in.
Yes.
Get it in
Today
and
is the
do
last day.
something fun and productive.
Right.
I wanted to talk about fun because I love your life is fun. It is. It is when you make it. You know, yes,
Yes.
there's things that's going around, but if you put the laughter back in, and it's not to say you're laughing at everything, and not that, and it's the joy. It's really is the fun
Right. It's the
part.
joy.
It's the joy of it, and I hear, and maybe you could talk about this, but I hear a lot of my clients say, I don't have time to even be friends with people. Like, they are my saviors. Some of my friends are my saviors. So I
Right.
don't, how can
Yeah.
you not have time to be with, you know, socialize? Because
Yes.
isn't fun part of socializing?
Hmm. Yes, it is. Exactly. And as human beings, we all want connection.
Yeah.
That's what we crave
Yes.
to nurture and be nurtured. But I genuinely feel like, and it's something that I always say.
Yeah.
See, the moment you tap into that inner child that had no belief system, no
Right.
resistance, you're open.
Yes.
You're
Yes.
open. And that's
Yes.
why I don't know if you know this, but your subconscious belief system is formed from 0 to 7. After 7,
Yeah.
you whatever you saw mommy and daddy do or society, you take it in as your life on how you see life.
See it. Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so that's why when you keep repeating the same pattern, you don't know why, but you subconsciously took it in. And I will tell you, I was also sexually I was sexually assaulted in the military.
Yes.
And that was a very twice, when I was in
Wow.
basic training and when I got to my first duty station at Fort
Wow.
Liberty, North Carolina. I actually filed a report. But I will share this with you because you also said you were a victim of sexual assault.
Mhm.
I share this because for a long time I blamed the drill sergeant or my NCO for what happened. But when I
Right.
started doing my inner work, I mean, when I started going within myself,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had to go back to the beginning of my story. When I
Right.
was a teenager, I was also sexually assaulted because I'm from Nigeria, by one man who used to come do laundry for my parents, and he forced himself on me. So I
Right.
took that in. So I kept repeating that same cycle. So
Right.
the army triggered that subconscious trauma inside of me.
Yes.
But I kept pointing fingers at it wasn't those people. I had
Right.
to accept that, forgive myself, and accept it. And that's how I was able to break out of that trauma,
Oh,
break out of
absolutely.
that, because everything is a
Yes.
pattern, right? But I
Absolutely.
will say that, the moment you shift your mindset from, hey, I'm a victim, or you did that, blame that
That's
person,
right.
it's
That's
it's
right.
going to be very challenging to find peace, you know, um,
Yes. When you point outside.
freedom within yourself, because we all want the same thing. It
Absolutely.
might
We
look
all do.
different. We want
Yes.
peace, freedom,
Hmm.
happiness. That's all we want at the same at the end of the
Absolutely.
day, right? But me shifting my mindset to realize that there's ultimately, okay, I'll share this. I'll end this with this quote. A man who blames everyone has a very long way to go on this journey. A
Oh, that's
man
good.
a man who blames himself is halfway there, and a man who blames no one has already arrived. The moment I stop blaming anybody because life is life, I
Yeah.
was in peace, like this immense peace. I stopped being angry at society, my parents, people that sexually assaulted me, and I just accepted that part of my journey, and it
Yeah.
was so fulfilling. So if this is anyone listening, There's ultimately no one to blame. Just accept it that life just
Yeah.
happens. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's true. You know what? That's true. That's really, I will tell you, childhood sexual abuse wasn't my, was, there was a habit with the person that kind of assaulted me. But what I took into my adulthood is the
Yes.
similarities of
Yes.
him
Mm-hmm.
and all these people.
Yes.
And when until I got it, which was on my second marriage,
It always
until
happens.
I got it,
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
Yeah.
I'm drawing that.
Yes.
I'm because
Yes.
worry is tricky.
Yeah.
Worry is very tricky because it embeds itself in your brain patterns,
Right.
and it emanates, and everybody doesn't realize that we are energy. So
Yes.
we don't have to say a word.
No.
Energy proceeds.
Yeah.
Okay. And I used to always say, let me just say not we, but I would say, oh, they picked me out. No, they didn't.
No.
The energy waves
Yes. Yeah.
just connected. It just connected. I'm talking about in our adulthood. I'm not talking about when you're a child. I'm talking about when you're in your adulthood.
Yeah.
And it happens. So then I had to say, okay, I saw the red flags.
Yes.
I ignored them.
Yes.
I forgive myself.
Yes.
And I will not be tricked by that again. You know what I'm saying? And
Yes.
that's when you just don't stop there though. You start
Yeah.
digging.
Yes.
What else is similar? Because you want to break
Yes.
up the pattern.
Yeah. Break the
So
patterns.
I did half of the work the first marriage, okay?
Okay.
Second part of it, I caught it at the end, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I see that. I see the
Yeah.
similarities. I figured that out.
Yes.
Now I choose to be single because I can now see the red flags before I even get started. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? I'm not even looking for them, but I could see them, and it's okay. It's
Right.
okay. It's okay that they have them, but they're not for me to. I don't need to take care of everybody like I need to
Right.
take care of my. When you start taking care of your little child, your hurt child, your inner
Inner
child.
child.
When
Yeah.
when you start taking care of that inner child, you don't need to take care of anybody else.
Ultimately.
It's so refreshing when you
Yeah.
start to take care of your inner child. This when you see people, oh, I need to. I'll be like, as soon as they would, girl, you don't know, and I was like, nope, I don't, and I don't want to know. I'd be like this, and I don't want to know.
Yes.
That's what you
Yeah.
do. But I got my own inner child to work with. I am not the sounding board for everybody's problems, and I don't have to take on people's problems.
No.
I would do that too as a trauma victim. Take everybody's,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
everybody's things in. I had a good friend of mine. She has some trauma issues that she never dealt with, but
Mm.
she would always include me in
Mm.
her issues with her children or whatever's going on and hand it to me like, handle that because I don't know how to. And I had to say one day, no, we can't do
Mm-mm.
this. We can't do this
Mm-mm. It's
anymore.
not your job.
It's not, yeah, this is your job. I
Yeah.
said, what I would suggest to you, if you don't think you can handle this anymore, what I think you should do is you should go to therapy
Yes.
and really be
And with your
intense with it
right.
and get
Yeah.
some, and then that way you can heal your inner child.
Yeah.
Because until you do that, me
Mm-hmm.
taking it, all it does, let me tell you, at one point, her child lived in another state across the country, okay? I was so angry at this child that I was driving in my car and I said, where the hell am I going? I was going to drive one way. That's how mad I was. And I was like, I had to stop.
Wow.
I was like, you get so in because what? Again, those patterns come back, right? They come back.
Yeah.
And I was like, where the hell am I going? Like I'm driving to where they are, and they across the country, girl.
Whoa.
I'm just driving. I said, you know what? That's when I said, I'm taking this. This is not my responsibility,
No, it's not.
and my trauma was taking over.
Yeah.
it took full swing. And I mean, when I say it, trauma drove the car, I literally didn't even feel myself getting into the car.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
how serious trauma is. And you
Wow.
let it, when it really wants to drive, it'll drive.
Yeah.
It'll take over your life. And I learned something too. Hate is serious when you really, because it's really, when you start blaming other people, you know what that is? Undercover hate.
Mm.
It's undercover hate. When you want to get somebody back, or they should, what's that, when you, revenge,
Revenge.
that's hate.
Yeah.
That's just hate. When you blaming somebody else, you hate the fact that, you hate, it's undercover. You gotta really, it's a whole lot of examining, like you said. I like what you said about the examining your inner self, because
Yeah.
that, no woman, men will admit it, no women want to do it.
Yeah.
Men will admit, yeah, yeah, I did that. Sorry, bud. Yeah, I slept with your girlfriend. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
cool, we cool.
Yeah.
There was an accident,
Right.
but women, mm-mm. And
Mm-mm.
we're the ones with the most diseases, right?
Mm-hmm.
Talk about that. How diseases, when you don't like, because I know you alluded to it about with the back pain. So talk about that.
Yeah. What you said? I should talk about the back
The
pain.
the pain, how it can reside in your body, because we get help. We're the
Oh.
ones that get unhealthy really quick with
Yeah.
cancers
Yeah.
and everything. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So for me, the lower back pain manifested itself when in my 30s. I'm 33 now.
Okay.
And I didn't realize this until I went back to the beginning of my story and I realized something. It wasn't lower back pain. When I went to the beginning of my story, it was anger. As a child,
Ooh.
I'm from Nigeria. You're not allowed to express your emotion. It's a
Yeah.
taboo in the Nigerian society, right?
Right.
So my mom said, and this is me paraphrasing her voice, she's like, Wanu, you were just a very angry child. I don't know, you just came out angry, right? I was always angry as a baby to teenager. And that anger turned into rage. And
Yeah.
that rage turned into lower back excruciating pain. Anger
Yeah.
is a natural emotion, but if you suppress it long enough, because the body keeps score, it will turn
Yes.
into something that the body manifests. For me, it was lower back pain. But
Right.
it was looking like lower back pain. But until I went to the beginning of my story, what was I responding or reacting to as a child? Now, what was that
Yes.
thing that I wasn't allowed to just be? And until I got to the root cause of what was going on,
Yeah.
anger, that was when I was able to navigate that pain. But
Right.
yeah, I just had to go back to that child.
Yeah. 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 And it's true. You got to go back to that child.
Yeah.
Um, I'm gonna tell you something I just learned the other day. So, um, I didn't meet my dad till I was like 27.
Oh
My
wow.
mom kind of hid him from me, and there's this whole, like you said, whole backstory.
Yeah.
They, what my mom just told me is that they were cousins in a way.
Mm.
Okay, and I was like, and the families didn't want them together. So I was like, okay, so because I know when my dad and my mom, my grandmother is from Haiti.
Oh, okay.
My grandfather's from Sierra Leone. So he worked in a railroad. They kind of met somewhere and came to America.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Before my dad was born. He was he was in my mom's my grandmother's belly when he came here.
Right.
So and so I was like, well, how are they related? I just kept saying, how I'm thinking, well, how are they related? I didn't know. Right. So I had forgotten. And you know how the genes kind of mix, and then there's always an extra of something.
Right.
When there's like when you're too close in when two people kind of get together and they're too close in genealogy, something
Mm.
extra always shows up, like an extra finger, toe,
Yes.
things like that. Okay. When I was born, I had 6 fingers.
Yeah,
I
I've seen
had
that before. It's
completely,
beautiful.
I had 6 fingers on both hands. I had completely forgot about that. Now,
Wow.
I had been angry with my mother for years for hiding this man from me, right? Thinking she was doing it on purpose. When she
Mm.
finally told me that they were related, they didn't know they were related. And
Wow.
I didn't remember that I had these 6 fingers until I'm
Mm.
gonna tell you yesterday. And I was like, oh my God, all this time she had no choice,
Yeah.
and I just had realized that yesterday. I'm in my 50s. I just realized that yesterday.
Wow.
So revenge is no good until you get the backstory, like you like, and
Yes.
being angry is no good unless you
Yeah.
get the backstory.
Backstory.
So I
Yes.
was angry at her for holding this guy back from
Yeah.
me, but
Yeah.
honestly, he was a relative of
Yeah.
hers, and her family didn't want them together.
Yes.
And then so it started a life
Right.
ripple effect.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just started one that couldn't be stopped. And I had to call my mom, Mom, I'm really sorry. And she goes, what
Yeah.
you do now? So I said, I'm sorry because now I just
Yeah.
realized that, and I told the story. She goes, she couldn't say nothing. I know she was,
Yeah.
she was crying, and she goes, thank you. I had
Yeah.
to get that off. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh,
Yeah.
but going back to that story, and healing is never over.
No.
It's never over. You're not healed. You're not.
No.
It's never over. Even a
Yeah.
sore that is healed on the top is tender to the touch.
Yeah.
It's tender to the touch. It still has to go through something.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I had a scar from my accident on my hip, and it's
Mm.
still tender. And that's been since 2007.
Wow.
It's
Yeah.
still tender. It's healed over, walking great, and all this, and it's still tender. So it's always a process.
Right.
I like
Right.
what you're doing. So
Yeah.
tell us a little bit more about your business. I like it. I like it a lot.
Oh, so the name of my company is the Mindfuck Co. Fuck stands for fun, compassion, and kindness. So essentially, what we do is I'm very huge believer of women mentoring women. So my approach is fun and authenticity, and I have amazing fun tools that I teach and I mentor women so they can start to live a healthy, wealthy, and happy
Right.
life. But I'm
Right.
very big on simplicity. Anything more than 2, 3 steps, you've lost me. And what we do is after 90 days, I don't really say I'm a coach because
Right.
I don't have anything to, I don't like this, what's that thing? Crutch. Or like I tell you that you already have all the answers.
Oh
You're
yeah.
whole just the way you are. All
Right.
I'm doing is showing you what is already there,
Yeah. Yeah.
so after I show you, once you start to shift your mindset on
Yeah.
your life, it's easier to start to respond to life. So that's essentially what we do.
Yeah.
And I speak, I'm an author, but the crux of it is having fun,
Hmm.
approaching life simply, and realize that once life happens, go back to your mind. It's your mind, your thoughts that's creating this, and realize that life is mental. So that's essentially like, the value chain of the business is just
Right.
like, realize that life is really mental,
Right.
and
That's
you can
nice.
have fun, be compassionate to yourself, and be kind. Hence the Mindful Co.
Well, that is so wonderful. We talked about a lot today. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, we talked about some good darn stuff. Okay, I almost said the other word,
Yeah.
but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, and I like you as a host, as just being a guest. I just love it. That's what I like about like again, energy knows energy, and
Yes.
that's the way it is. That's just
Yes.
the way it is.
Yes.
So we've come to the end of this show, and I want to thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Amazing soul. I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for really sharing everything that you really share with us, because it's life changing
Thank you
for
so
my
much.
audience, and I know it's life changing for me. This is Edna White and my esteemed guest, the amazing Soul Alese, saying goodbye for now.